I think
Not
that
available for the appointment.
Well, either the fall colors or something, but it's good.
You want
Is that him? Okay.
It's about the same.
Well, with me turning 50, I retired the military high and tight, so I have to let it grow. So I don't know what it's gonna do in the next one. Every child me as a kid has my hair and it does it straight down. Like no curls. Yeah. I know. I know.
I gave my first perm to my nephew. So if you want her.
Wow. How old is your nephew?
He wants that.
The llama look. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
gorgeous beard. I'm so jealous of the folks that can just get that perfect beard. All right, let's get started. Dan can join us in progress. We can move the committees to now. Could be another 10 minutes. I wanna keep everybody, I know everybody's busy, budget times and all. Quarter, end of quarter, last quarter. All right, we are recording, we are live. All right, I call to order the counties of Warren and Washington Industrial Development Agency Executive Park Audit and Finance Committee meetings on October 1st at 9:02 a.m. Can I get a roll call, please, Ally?
Yes, John Tafflin,
Here.
Tim Robinson, Juan Gonzalez.
Here.
We have a quorum. We have 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Great. Can I get a roll call on the Audit and Finance Committee?
Tim Robinson, Jenny Sullivan,
Here.
Juan Gonzalez. There is a quorum. There's 3 out of 4.
Great, thank you so much. All right, in the meeting packet is the minutes of the August 6, 2025 IDA Executive Park and Governance Committee meeting. I will entertain a motion to accept those minutes. Second. John? And John? Any edits, corrections, or omissions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstain? Motion carries. For the record, I'd like to note that Dan Bruno has joined us for this meeting. Thank you so much, sir. Always well dressed. Great. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to sit down and then we'll go into the reports of the committees. All right, reports of the committee, park check, please.
There yesterday at the canal side, about home, looking at the proposed new whatever addition to the south access road. And talked to Chuck yesterday after we looked it over. Probably would cost north of $500,000.
Wow.
I know we had budgeted
3.
but that's just my Val Holmes educated guess at this point. That was good. Keyword is in the process of removing a lot of stuff there, office rooms. Yeah, I think 12 or 14 large reels up there. Those are slow. So pretty much it for canal side. We still have a couple of good prospects there.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
On the road,
Yes.
What's our set of timing? What for that road to need to be quite, what's our absolute?
That's a good question. We'd like to have it done. The reason for it is because we're taking the bridge out and placing it on Lock 8 Way to the north. And we need to have that completed before that bridge is out. Kiewit will be off the site completely in March of 26.
Right.
And then soon thereafter, Washington County will have to remove that bridge.
Okay.
And begin to replace it. So that's enough time frame. So soon thereafter, we should have that road in shape.
Okay.
To accept traffic. down at that end.
I was just thinking about timing and cost, because costs can vary depending on the time of year. What comes up like that?
Well, this one not quite as bad as if you were doing a building. There's no foundations, there's no cold weather concreting and that sort of.
I'm thinking more of the asphalt plants shutting down in the fall,
Yeah,
and, maybe able to get.
I'm thinking more in the spring, and then starting out.
when it's starting out.
All planning, bidding, so in the winter and then spring.
Yeah, starts. So that would, timing would actually work out real well.
Good.
Good.
Yeah. So
Okay, thanks.
I'm just thinking the engineering, the reason the cost, the order is, there's a fair amount of earthwork on the south end of that south entrance road. But yeah, raising the grade and also the widening there's an embankment on the west side that we need to raise the grade in order to meet that existing, East Street. Provide proper sight distance for the bridge, yada, yada. So anyway,
When would we be prepared to put that out to bid?
let's see.
Bob, have an
I think
idea?
DEC is the longest pole in the tent here.
That shouldn't be hopefully too bad because Labella has a lot of, she's done a lot of work that we have to furnish a evaluation report, wetland.
Yeah.
Article 24 DEC. And Labella, because of our efforts to do the enforcement out for that area, has done a lot of research and whatnot.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll use that. We're gonna have them do it. At this point, they've got to furnish us a quote, which we should have fairly soon. And if we don't like it, we could always have Steve George do it. He's the one that works with us, with Bob Holmes on airport wetlands and that sort of thing. He could do it, but actually he was the one that suggested that maybe we ought to try Labella because they've already done some of the groundwork, if you will. So you're talking to them, but Labella's environmentalist, if you will, whatever her name is, Barbara, can't remember her last name. She's retired, and she's the one that did all the work, but her successor, so to speak, who's currently an employee, should be up to speed and familiar with all of her work, so it should work out. But again, we'll have to wait and see what they give us for a cost. So moving over to the airport, Steve George is working on that as well. I don't know exactly what.
I have it about now.
We're talking about the section of, land that a potential buying, that we have a potential buyer for.
The airport?
Yeah. So he's finalizing to make the official request from the DEC to be able to, determine what is eligible and what is not eligible for, development.
Our last 23
Right,
years.
we
Or
have
like
had-
development.
The problem is we want DEC to relax, if you will, their buffer,
Yeah.
because it
You can't,
currently impinges on the access road. Now, the access road as it stands, is a paper road, so to speak, and
Right.
constructed.
Yeah.
But we could move that.
Oh.
That's me.
Right. You could-
I don't know.
To maybe avoid the.
Yeah, if need be.
And for DEC to make a determination, they wanted us to submit the actual, whatever the application is in order for them to make a determination. So we're right at the cusp of that.
Correct.
The last thing he asked for to see if the applicant had a grading clearing plan that they could submit with the submission.
And they were working on that.
We should have that fairly soon, fairly.
Sounds like a week.
So, and that's a very good prospect. And I think, well, nothing better than be done with that. And if all goes well with the DEC, I think that will happen in the next few months.
Good. All right, I'll give everybody else, Chuck is actually at a meeting with the, Lake Champlain Lake George Regional Planning Board. An important conference that we wanted to support, so I'll give the 30-second overview of everything. As we talk about one potential buyer for the last remaining, lots in, Airport Industrial Park that have, economic development potential. The two remaining beyond that one, the Rotary Club has submitted a letter of intent. There's been no movement on that one, and we have no interest, as of this moment on the Airport Industrial Park 1 lot closer to the airport. So those are our three remaining lots in Airport Industrial Park. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I should add regarding canal side, this technical services change order submitted by Lavella, and this is to advance the design and permitting of water infrastructure improvements. Chuck and I have talked to Paul DA, young lady, her name is Liz Rama. Couple of times we reviewed this, and we were looking to approve this possibly at our next full board meeting. So you'll be getting copies of this to review.
Salt, and no smaller.
Yes.
So anyway, we, as I said, we will.
Spoken like a true treasurer.
Figured
out. April. It's good.
So this is just for the water. As I say here, wastewater, there's addressed set a future change order because that's dependent on where we go with wastewater and on-site treatment plant, and where that discharges to, probably Bonnet Creek, which is a canal authority balked at us discharging into there because of the winter, you know, canals dewatered, whatnot. So anyway, once we finalize that, as far as the wastewater is concerned, then you can get input from Lavella, additional cost. Thank you.
Good. And other updates from canal side is our three potential buyers that we have been talking about are still, whether it's various meetings with the town and the village are still in very exploratory stages. No official application or draft application has been submitted yet that we'll bring to the board. So we're still working those. And then obviously we talked about the bridge 2026, the back gate entrance adjustments as well, which we'll talk about at the budget. Leasing is going down because of the QIT being offsite here in a couple of months, in 6 months. So lots going on, and appreciate the park team and for being able to manage quite a bit. It's almost a daily meeting or a daily phone call on all of this. So appreciate everybody's help with this. All right, I'll open it up to the floor with any questions on canal side or Airport Industrial Park. Good. All right, moving on. Is there any additional ongoing business? All right, with no additional ongoing business, we'll move to new business and we will talk about the proposed budget that we'll be looking forward to the full board and turn it over to the treasurer.
Sure. Everybody at the table has a copy of the budget and where we're forecasted to be for the end of 25. I'll go down through the changes as you see.
I believe your CDC.
I'm sorry. I'm starting with the CDC. That's the short CD.
Yeah.
The last page.
You know, our money comes in through interest income. You know, we factored about an average balance of $1,675,000 at 3.5% for 6 months, just to be conservative. Then we have an economic development payment of $2 million expected from Kiowa, CHPE project in April, I wanted to say.
Well, as early as April, but as late
Late
as
as
whenever
June.
they flick the switch, right?
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
It could be. But they have.
All
did-
signs point to a 2026, happening.
Turning on lights.
Yes.
So the idea here, grant funds going out, of the CDC, to the IDA, and what that is including, and I guess we probably should have started on the other one first, but that includes $300,000 for the road widening and $25,000 for a grant program that Chuck and team came up with to study brownfield sites that could possibly be redeveloped. That may have to be increased based on what we're hearing on the potential $500,000 plus cost. Could be, and I'd rather be conservative and maybe change that grant coming from the CDC to.
I would agree
Yeah,
that it's
yeah.
gonna be the max potential cost. It makes more sense to get the change in the budget now.
Right
than it
now.
does to-
Yeah, so we're going to put that at 525.
500, okay.
Please.
I should add, given the preliminary plans for that access road.
Yeah.
To, John Davidson,
Oh,
because he works with, as part of DA Collins, who, that's their bailiwick, so to speak. So asked him to just give us a budget number. His would be a little more accurate than mine without sitting down.
and correct me if I'm wrong, Juan, is there an opportunity for potential sharing of this cost as we approach the canal court?
We are, and Chuck has looked at that as well, as we need this, that canal court,
Yes.
the leverage is light. So we are planning for worst case scenario, but we will continue to work on that avenue as we get further details.
Okay. So the only expense of the CDC is the audit fees of 2,600. So that you can see, there's still gonna be a pool of money sitting at the CDC level. About $1.5 million now with the adjustment to the budget of a 5.25 grant going out to the idea. All right. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to try to address some. If the team would.
All right, so we're looking to make the adjustment of 525 for potential grant, and then reducing the interest earnings based off of a $200,000 less. We'll run the math for that, make that change,
Thank you. Yeah.
and those are the two changes that will be taken to the full board. Right?
So $1,475,000.
Yep.
That's 6.5, or 3.5, I think it's 6. It's 6. Okay.
Great. Any kind of questions, concerns? We move to the IDA budget. Yeah, all right, moving on.
All right, so on the IDA budget, you've got, starting at the top, some adjustments to income. Forecasting a lower interest rate on $2.4 million in money market. 2026, projected at 84,000 in interest income, plus another 300,000 on other interest income. The grants got to go up here. Grant funds from the CDC would be 5.25 now. 525,000. Raising our total non-operating revenue. Oh, yeah, 609. We are forecasting, obviously, with we have a month, isn't it, with our electric?
Correct.
So likely gonna stay. They need the space for as long as we'll have them, I imagine. But we've got 12 months in there, and then CHPE at 3 months as their lease ends, and likely not going to continue to lease space, need to lease space. So we've lowered that income down significantly. I'll go to the new project fees. You know, we did, we anticipate $315,000 approximately in project fees through the end of 25. And we shrunk it a little bit to 300,000 for next year. We think we'll go right through that, but that closes 2025 projects that are in the works already. That have been approved, but we haven't collected the fees on. Like one of them's patent, one of them's the hotel, aviation. Yep. Mall hotel, for lack of a better term. And so we're anticipating that, you know, through Chuck and Ellie's hard work that will come close to generating, which I have to say is, if you look back, we only budgeted 200,000 in prior years. Some years it wasn't even close to a couple 100,000 of revenue. So it's been a great team effort of our CEO and our office administrator. That is really the changes on the income side. On the expense side, you're looking at, you know, we added on a technical solutions, I believe it's called. So that raised our computer related costs. Chuck and Elliot feel we're much more secure, better systems in place to do the job. So, you know, we'll continue to get support, and they're continuing to work through the implementation of that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can up here.
Sure thing. Yes.
We expect those to stay about the same.
Well, yeah, they projected to be a little flatter than they had been in the past. We budgeted 120 last year, and looks like it's gonna hit about 155. But there was some
Great months.
yeah, strong months, and that had to do with delays in other avenues of shipping, I
I
believe.
think, wasn't it the strike?
Yeah.
Strike in Canada.
Yeah.
So it's it is a very light number.
So we went back to
Right.
historical
Very
what we saw.
I go out there fairly often, keep an eye on it. They still got a lot of rail cars unload stuff, so also near future.
That's a shared income with
Good.
good with
WCC.
WCC, which is own the land, and originally they did and they own the land? They own some of it. Right.
Mhm.
But so good question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's being conservative, and I hope you're right, because that shows good economic activity in the area. We wanted to include more marketing and PR. We thought it did a nice job of what we've spent in 2025 of 5,200, or what we anticipate spending. You know, we're doing more chamber sponsorships. As a matter of fact, we have a table at the breakfast tomorrow for the business awards. It's good PR. That also includes banners that Chuck got, which I think are very nicely positioned to get us some more attention. And we should keep, I think we're going to get a few more of those included in there.
Yes, you just ordered 3 more
So,
yesterday.
Yeah, that's great. So we want to do a little bit more marketing, keep us relevant, keep us in the forefront of the public's eyes in a good way. Accounting, you know, we have Busy Bee, we have looking to do a QuickBooks payroll service. So that's why we upped the accounting by a good $6,000 approximately. You know, everybody costs a little bit more. The audit, we're going back to our same auditor for their quote. We have to get quotes this year. And Busy Bee has been contracted up to a $5,000 annual amount.
I checked, it was 54 that they were
5,400?
approved.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
So that number reflects what was approved for max amount for Busy Bee, but
Yes. So we're not increasing her fees. It's 5,400 to her to help.
Maximum we approve is before?
Yes, however, so far in 2025, I believe only like 1,500 was spent. So I'm not saying we're going to go up to that, but that's what was approved. So we'll make room for that, just in case. You never know.
And the QuickBooks payroll service just takes it, Swan pointed out, you know, it takes any question out of payroll. And it provides additional time for Ally to do much more important work. Not that payroll's not important.
I get it. I get it.
So that's why we're looking at that increase. You know, the IDA staff payroll is up. We're projecting a 4% increase there. You know, cost of living increases, performance increase. It's like that. On the next page, which is page 3. We are down to paying commissions to CBRE to about $1,700, which is good. Because now properties are being marketed by Berkshire Hathaway. And I would assume if we have lease of any property, that Berkshire Hathaway would then become the right recipient of that income. Here's the big one. It's a huge parcel, and we've got to do more to keep it clean. We can hire out, but you know, it costs us a lot of money to hire out to do this stuff, and then it's one-time expense that's ongoing. And in this case, you spend 60 grand on a tractor and mower and outside services. It's about 40 grand for the tractor, I would imagine, what we're anticipating.
Yeah, thereabouts, but with respect to that, Chuck and I decided that, since the intense season, if you will, for the use of that is over, we're gonna wait and see what develops with prospective purchasers, new owners of canal signs, and let them take that rather than us. We had anticipated buying a mower, brush hog, what have you, this season, but then we started thinking, so what's the point if we're gonna go through the winter and whatnot, and it's not gonna grow all that much, and what is left to be done, Everett will do mostly with the change on weed whacker and that sort of thing. So we decided to put that on hold, see what develops with respect to new homes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe they take that out of we don't have that.
So we threw it into 26 bucket. And so thank you, Dan. It likely spent it, you know, in the summer if we have to at all.
Right.
Yeah, of 26. So we get canal side utility reimbursements. It's estimated about $56,000, which is about 80% of cost to be allocated to that. And you can see electric other is excludes CHPE's April forward. So we've reduced the electric other at canal side to 70,000. Which you know, comes down to 14,000 total expense for that. Here's the detour, bridge detour that needs to be bumped to 500,000 for the moment. And hopefully less, but I doubt it. Yeah, it is what it is. We've got to do it. There's only way to get, you know, proper trucks in and out, and I think it leads to a better saleable property at the end of the day. And then going down to employee benefits, CRB tier. So Chuck was able to get into a lower tier based on his prior service at another government agency. That's how I say it. So we don't have to contribute as much to his retirement, which is good. So we budgeted that at $5,000 less. And then employee net health insurance. You know, obviously everybody anticipates increases in health insurance these days, and so we thought 13%, and that was based on some quotes that you guys got, or no? Was that
Best
just,
guess.
that was best guess, okay, based on what we're hearing.
Exactly.
And that they're
Yeah.
allowed to
Yeah.
increase.
You know, and, oh, guys. Well, let me open it up to any questions on this, first, on the IDA budget, because I do need to circle back to the CDC and the grant going to the IDA for 25,000 in addition to road widening grant, 500,000. Speak to that, I think. No, good job, team. Juan puts a lot of effort. Ally and Chuck really do lines work, and then it's
Team effort.
up for discussion. So thank you. Yeah, that's just up for discussion. Yeah.
Where is the brownfield?
Yeah, I was looking
It's
for that.
in, so. Yeah, that's that, yeah.
No, I made
I
a
don't-
special column
I don't see it
specifically
on
for
the one-
Brownfield.
It is on page. Okay, so
Oh,
where?
I thought I was going crazy.
Oh, it's in the income.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So we'll talk about that. Chuck came up with the idea with discussions and one about some ways we could put the money back into the community. We're a not for profit. We've got a lot of money in our coffers, and we're really supposed to be an agency for the benefit of our communities. So the idea was to put $25,000 towards some studying of why we should look into redeveloping brownfield properties. So Chuck's done a nice job on page 1. It aligns with our mission of economic growth and site renewal for community revitalization. There's certainly many underutilized properties in Washington and Warren County. There is tax credits available that we could explore. Some federal dollars involved in that. On page 2, he goes into needing to convene and facilitate, between the villages and the town, structure some kind of customized pilots for these programs. And it'll attract developers, hopefully. We would avoid direct site ownership because of liability potential. I think what he wants to do, these exploratory actions would help use that $25,000 pay for some of this. Develop a working team. Nobody does work for free these days, or any day for that matter. So attorneys, engineers, environmental experts need to be involved in this kind of process, and people with that kind of environmental expertise as attorneys and engineers would be appropriate. And I know, Kara, did Chuck mention anybody in your firm that has that specialty?
He needs to reach out to, he had met someone at the last conference. No, he had met, for the brownfields.
Yeah.
We had reached out to Hodgson Russ, and they were gonna get their team connected with.
Okay.
There was another discussion on bond council that was recommended. Jim Kerman, she was recommended to me. He wasn't doing that type of work anymore. So we've connected with someone from Barclay Damon. We spoke to her yesterday, actually. And so we're gonna have more information for the full board to review about her assist with a special part.
Okay, and that firm is out of where?
Loretta. Well, they have offices across the state, but they're local. They have an office. Their most local offices in Albany.
Yeah, I know I mentioned kind of in addition to bond, they have an environmental attorney, and Chuck was gonna explore them like
Okay.
that too, just to make sure that we're putting it in the hands of maybe somebody more local
Okay,
in terms of
yeah.
a local law firm, Saratoga County, but it's still close.
To my knowledge, Chuck, as of yesterday, he hadn't connected with whoever the attorney was at Ashton House for the.
Yeah, so that's part of the whole spending the 25,000. We do a ranking system based on the expertise of the professionals, and some ideas
about infrastructure and preferred uses. Pre-screen candidates with scoring matrix would have to be developed. Explore planning grants with municipalities through the EPA and New York State. I'm not sure what BOA corridor plan stands for. BOA. New York State BOA corridor plan. BOA. Bank of America. I doubt. Yeah. Thank you. Good. Thanks. See, I was telling Connor about acronyms. So you are gonna have to just ask what the acronym is, and you'll have to ask multiple times because the agency is about it. And then informally engage stakeholders such as town, county officials, staff, and developers during the process. And then he lays out some risks and the mitigations to those risks, and then what our next steps would be. So, there's long timelines to this kind of thing. It doesn't happen overnight, as we all know, with governmental agencies. Liability, obviously their special purpose vehicle, not ownership, that has to be paramount because deep pockets pay the bill to clean up these sites if they're owners. Complex financing, repair pilots with bridge capital, some kind. Maybe there's an opportunity to provide some bridge financing too. I'm not really sure what he meant with bridge capital, but Chuck can explain. We're looking for board concurrence to explore to add 25,000 to budget, which we're asking you to approve today, for the professional team, and then go forward with those exploratory actions, and including identifying potential sites by mid-year. And with that,
I think one of the keys here is that first item, long timeline to manage expectations. So,
yeah,
you know where I'm going.
thank you.
And we will be connecting, has connected with some of the both EDCs of both counties as well as the regional planning boards who have all play a part of this as well. So he will just stay aligned with our economic development partners in both counties to ensure we're not duplicating efforts, that we're all working one effort to get these sites up to availability for economic development.
Yeah, and I don't know whatever federal agencies we working with, what the government shutdown kind of delays and causes that have, but to Dan's point, let's manage our expectations. This isn't going to be next year, but the exploratory piece can happen. We can move forward with that. With that, I certainly open up to questions, but I'm limited on this to what Chuck's put on paper.
Do you have any questions from the board? So with that, we looked at, good. Yeah.
No,
Okay, good.
good idea. When we look at where we're going with the potential, hopefully shedding the airport industrial and canal side. We need new avenues.
Yeah, with the potential of sitting on quite a bit of money.
Yes.
So for the team, just to make sure that you're aware, this is the first, the brownfield redevelopment is the first of many items that we're gonna bring to this board to be able to expand what we do with economic development. There are others that we're not ready to bring to the board, economic feasibility studies, partner with folks on that, potential grants in the future, infrastructure types, and a few others. So this is just step one, and then next year, once we get past Canal Side and Airport Industrial Park, you'll see a bigger push of us putting our time into these new areas that we can provide economic development. All exploratory at this point, other than brownfields being added to the budget.
Yeah, open to any suggestion from any board member or the community in regards to what would be the best use of some significant capital in the future.
Yes. And so with that, we reviewed the CGC budget and made adjustments to the grant to the IDA for the detour cost. And then for the IDA budget, we will make those same adjustments to the bridge detour cost, both on the expense and the income lines. Other than that, there's no changes other than those. With that, I'll entertain one final round of questions. With no questions, I will entertain a motion to pass the CDC and IDA budgets to the full board. John, second. Dan, all in favor? Aye. Do we need a roll call? No, we're just passing it to the full board. We're good. Any comments, questions, or abstains? None? With that, motion carries. Great. With that,
I was provided.
we will.
Right.
Yes.
Both the budget.
Yes.
All right, with that, is there any other new business? Is there any other business? Are there any public comments? Do we have any public online?
No.
No. Hearing none?
The only thing on that is just, I'm just looking at we have our bi-weekly meeting with Bella this afternoon. So we'll be looking at this technical services change order. Other issues regarding water improvements.
With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting. Dan, second. John, all in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned at 9:40.